Hello and good morning. Welcome to the second day of the Impact Days 2020. So we're having a bit of a later start here today, so let's have a look who are like the night owls who are quite happy that finally for once they were actually punctual. Like, no night owls here? Okay, who are the early birds who by now have had their third coffee and are happy to get started? Oh, okay, so I assume the night owls are actually still in bed and they're gonna come a bit later. Okay, well, did you go to the Impact dinner yesterday? Did you go and have a good time? Any show of hands? Okay, yeah. Did you have the chocolate mousse? Did you have 2 chocolate mousse? Oh yeah, I got the ones. I love the honesty here as well. Did you have a good drink and good chats with new people maybe, or with old colleagues? I heard from some it's a bit like a school encounter where you're meeting people that you might have met over the 10 years that we're already doing the Impact Days. So I would like to get today started with a bit of a game. Is anyone up for a game with me? It's like, yay, of course, now I have to be interactive, yay. It's not that difficult, I'll explain it to you step by step. So the game is called thumb wrestling, and let's have a look at the slide that would show you how it works. Yes, thumb wrestling game. First thing on the slide is select a partner. So you should get together in pairs, 1-on-1. This is now the moment when you do this. So just turn towards a person, maybe look at that person to indicate, I want you to be my partner for now, okay? This is as far as you go now. Anyone who still hasn't got a partner, just show your hand so that someone else might actually, okay, I see someone here is still single. Please make sure this is now the matching game. I can see someone still here. Maybe you just stand up and walk around until you find some other lonely heart who hasn't got a partner yet, so that in the end we've got pairs of 2. Okay, I'll actually put this to the side now because I need a partner too to show you how this works. So maybe, Camillo, can I ask you to come on stage and play a little thumb wrestling game with me? Please give it up for Camillo. All right. So, how do we do this? First thing that we do now that we found a partner is we shake hands. And yes, I know this is still a bit awkward these days, so don't worry, we've got disinfect outside, okay? Right, next thing we do is we interlock our fingers this way. So when one hand goes down, the other goes this, and then you interlock so you can actually pull each other a bit, okay? Yeah? You've got a steady stand, you're gonna need it, okay. Right, next thing we do is we touch our thumbs like this, okay? And the goal of the entire game is that each of you individually gains as many points as possible, okay? So how do we make a point? I'll show you. You're gonna have to let me do this now, okay? So I make a point by pinning down his thumb like this. First point for me. Okay, how do you make a point? So it's same here. You try to do the same. Yeah, you try. Yeah, okay. Okay. Try not to break any bones or any clothes or any of that. And this is basically how it goes. Thank you so much, Camillo. Please give it up for Camillo. All right. So, 1 thumb pin, 1 point. What else? There is no talking. You start and stop on my signal. And you keep count of your own scores, okay? Are you ready? Yeah, now you're getting ready. Like, okay. Ready, steady, go! Five, 4, 3, 2, 1, stop! Stop. All right. Okay. Now let's have a look at the scores. Please, a bit of light in the audience so I can actually see the scores. Okay, let's start. Who's got 20 points or higher? Okay, no one. 15 points. Oh, yeah, over there. Ah, good ones. 15 points or higher. No, still not. OK, let's try it the other way around. Who's got like 1 or 2 points? 2, 3 points? OK. Interesting. Because the goal of the game was that each of you gets as many points as possible, right? OK, let's have a look at the rules again. Nothing in here says that you can't collaborate. It even says select a partner and not an opponent. Yeah, but now you're going to say, but hang on, this is how you showed it to us, which is right. I kind of set you up for this a bit. Because what I saw you doing is wrestling like that, which is also what I showed to you. And the whole thing is called thumb wrestling. So we know labeling matters. And then I even made jokes about breaking bones. So you're not bad people. We all fall into this trap. When we are told that we have to win, we think the other one has to lose. Whilst actually in a collaboration, both parties could win. And with this in mind, I would like to play a game with you. It's called thumb wrestling. Here are the rules. You need a partner, so maybe some light again. Maybe just go together with the same person again. So you select a partner. What else? The goal is you should earn individually as many points as possible. 1 thumb pin is 1 point. No talking. You start and stop on my signal, and you keep count of your own score. OK? So let's do this once more. Are you ready? OK. Ready, steady, go. Huh. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1, stop! All right. OK. That was a bit more quiet, interesting. So let's have a look at the scores. Who has 20 points or more? Huh. Interesting. Have a look around. That's quite a lot of hands up. Even more, 25 points? Yeah. 30 points? You're like, yes! OK. Good. That's interesting, because what I saw, you're like, yeah, I've got like 40 points. What I saw from most of you now is that you did some variation of this, like how quick can my thumb actually top down the other one? And this is a beautiful metaphor here, whilst my timer is still telling me you've got time. This is a beautiful metaphor. In a collaboration, I can think about making my own points, but I can let the other one make points as well. So I can have my own interests in mind, and at the other time, serving the interest of my partner. And with this, both parties can actually win. Thank you very much for playing a little game with me. And with this, I would like to get us started with today's first section, SDG number 16. Peace, justice, and strong institutions. Investing in our future, investing in peace. We are living in an unjust world, and when we look around the world, there are many conflicts, and quite often they're rooted in social and economic injustices. So the global economic system actually fuels these inequalities. And again, we want to focus on the role of the financial sector. We can take a closer look at what are the causes of modern conflicts, what are the opportunities that a sustainable economy would actually pose, and how can we create real conditions for peace. And it is really a great pleasure for me to now announce our first keynote speaker on this topic. He is now the co-chair of the Ban Ki-moon Center for Global Citizens. He was the 11th president of the Republic of Austria from 2004 to 2016. He had an extensive career as a senior representative and policymaker in the Republic of Austria, and as such, he was in positions like a Federal Minister of Science and Research, as well as the Speaker of the Austrian National Assembly. He was involved intensively in supporting and advancing Austria's scientific, social, and cultural development. And today he's going to talk about the role of the private sector in SDG number 16 and why that matters. Dear audience, please give it up for Dr. Heinz Fischer.
Sie haben das fantastisch gemacht, ich habe zugehört. Good morning to everyone, dear friends, ladies and gentlemen. It's a real pleasure and honor to be your guest at the Impact Days 2022 in the Vienna Hofburg and to present some deliberations and observations about the relevance of the SDGs, particularly SDG 16, and the role and connection to the private sector. SDG 16 brings the importance of peace, justice, rule of law, and strong institutions to our attention. Especially in times like these, it is not necessary to underline the outstanding importance of peace and the destructive forces and consequences of war. Justice is a sister of equality, and rule of law is an instrument to implement justice and vice versa. Strong institutions, finally, are the instrument to keep the different elements of Goal 16 in shape. A society without strong institutions will lead to chaos, and strong institutions without rule of law will be the source of an authoritarian system. Nevertheless, the past few years have exposed growing global inequalities, especially of the most vulnerable in our societies. Today, 1% of our global population, that means more than 80 million people, have been forcibly displaced from their homes due to persecution or war or violence. We are currently witnessing a political and humanitarian catastrophe at our borders, the war by Russia against Ukraine. We also keep witnessing the deterioration of some democratic institutions, even within the European Union, and human rights violations across the whole planet. Times like these should see intensified multi-stakeholder cooperation, solidarity, and advocacy for the SDGs. I have worked in policy many years. I realized that it was said already, and the experience as president of this country is very useful to continue or to transfer it to the next generations. I know how difficult it is to build awareness and a positive opinion in the public sphere on a specific issue. But the SDGs are and have to be an exception. Why, could you say? My opinion is that you cannot bargain with the climate and the environment of our planet. We have only one planet and no planet B. With the SDGs, we are not only in the realm of politics, but also in the realm of natural sciences and facts. We are also in the realm of international law and justice. Holistically, dear friends, the 17 SDGs are a compact program for a more prosperous and peaceful life and have relevance in every country and society around the world. The SDGs are, in my opinion, I would call it a world government's program, encompassing 17 universal and crucial goals, and particularly SDG 16, peace, justice, and strong institutions, is very dear to my brain and to my heart, and plays a vital role in our political thinking and in political practice. I'm happy to see that businesses also want to increase their impact on good governance, anti-corruption, rule of law, and of course, peace. Successfully implementing the SDGs is indeed a multi-stakeholder effort and must be a multi-stakeholder effort. However, a far-reaching world government program cannot be the agenda of only a few stakeholders. This agenda needs to include everybody and every individual, every community, every government, and businesses and academia as well. The 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development also reflects human rights standards and is deeply rooted in international human rights law. The pledge of the SDGs, I quote, "to leave no one behind," quote ending, matches the principle of the United Nations Declaration of Human Rights, saying the wonderful sentence, namely, that all human beings are born free and equal in dignity and rights. Dear friends, fighting against poverty and hunger, for instance, advocating for good health and good education, and working against gender inequalities and in favor of effective climate protection are all part of the SDGs. But, as I have said already at the beginning, an overarching goal, in my opinion, is goal number 16, namely peace, justice, and strong institutions. Nobel Prize winner Willy Brandt, whom I appreciated very much, once said, "Peace is not everything, but everything is nothing without peace." Indeed, peace plays a central role if we want to successfully implement the 2030 Agenda and are ready for a just and humane society. Societies that are built around effective, accountable, and inclusive institutions are societies that are resilient when faced with crises. SDG 16, with its 12 targets, presents a tool to rebuild societies if they are hit by a crisis to be more resilient in the future. Justice is also part of SDG 16, and human rights are part of justice. Strong institutions are necessary instruments of a functioning democratic society. Only if parliaments, and governments, and courts, and other institutions are well functioning and fair, only then can a political system really serve the people and fulfill their duties. They are all interconnected, and like governments, businesses operate best in peaceful environments with effective institutions in place. Sustainable business practices, which are human-centered and uphold the rule of law, they create a stable work environment and ensure long-term business success. Businesses can also fight corruption, uphold labor rights, and increase community engagement by being responsible partners through the chain of production. Profit should never stand above human rights, and exploitation never above sustainable and ethical production. Dear friends, so I hope that your respective businesses and entities become champions of the innovative global agenda by raising awareness about the interconnectedness of the SDGs, implementing in particular SDG 16, and critically analyzing and re-evaluating their code of conduct and policies. Indeed, many companies have already realized the tremendous business opportunities that are enshrined in these goals. And that is not only the task of governments and civil society organizations. Also, many Austrian companies are successfully championing the SDG implementation in their respective work with their corporate social responsibility and sustainability reports. When talking about SDG 16 and human rights, we should also not forget that this entails women's rights, migrants' rights, rights for people with disabilities, LGBTQ rights, and indigenous rights. Promoting SDG 16 in your businesses should also mean promoting diversity and inclusive decision-making. SDG 16, dear friends, coupled with SDG 5, gender equality, and SDG 10, reduced inequalities, is paving the way for SDG 8, decent work and economic growth. In times like now, in times like these, we also must improve and restore multilateralism and international cooperation. Through this, we can get back on track and make the SDGs reality. We need each and every one of the 17 SDGs to build back a better future after the global shock of a former economic crisis, of COVID-19 pandemic, and the war of Russia against Ukraine. Without progress on SDG 16, implementing other areas of the 2030 agenda will be increasingly difficult. We as global citizens have a responsibility to identify systemic challenges and come together to implement the Sustainable Development Goals and the Paris Climate Agreement. Therefore, I'm calling on the private sector to use its enormous influence and resources to stand up in favor of social stability and justice and protection of human rights and the rule of law. Let us in particular work together with young people and include marginalized voices. Without their ideas, bravery, and leadership, we are leaving out great potential and expertise to solve the many planetary challenges we are currently facing. That's what I wanted to tell you, and I want to thank you for your interest, for your activities, and I wish you all the best for your discussions today and further on for your future work and activities. Thank you very much.
Bleiben wir noch kurz da. Na, bleiben wir noch kurz.
Okay.
Dr. Fischer, Thank you so much for your input. I was wondering, you were talking about a big goal, a peaceful and just society. And I feel like often the biggest goals have to start very small within ourselves. And I'm wondering, in all these years that you've been working towards this big goal, what is it that you have learned about yourself that has helped you to continue on this path?
Well, I think for my personal development, the year I was born played a big role, namely the year 1938. That means before the German occupation in Austria, before World War II started in 1939, and the war from 1939 to 1945 is still very in my mind. I remember to go to the shelter in the night, to be nervous, to hear the bombing, to feel the shaking of the earth. And even after 1945, the situation was very difficult. Austria was occupied. Human rights were violated. Rule of law was not guaranteed because Austria was occupied with foreign soldiers. And that means that for me, human rights and justice and rule of law and peace in particular, that's the basis of my political and humane thinking.
Thank you so much for also sharing this personal reflection. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Heinz Fischer.
Thank you. Schön. Thank you.
Ich danke Ihnen. And with this, we continue with our first panel of today. And I just noticed I've actually announced this as the Impact Days 2020 several times, as I also still seem to be in the time zone 2 years ago. But of course, we are in the Impact Days 22. And this is the first panel of the second day, Investing in Our Future, Investing in Peace. And for this, let me introduce to you again our moderator and our speakers. I invite to me on stage the moderator of this panel, Paul Chatterton. He's the leader and founder of Landscape Finance Lab. His expertise lies in the area of sustainability, climate change, land use, and biodiversity. And you have a long career with the WWF, I heard, and you've worked on interesting projects like the world's largest forest carbon programs at landscape scale, Europe's longest river-protected area, and the largest rainforest reserve in the Pacific. Please give it up for Paul.
Thank you, Katharina.
With you on stage, I invite Rishabh Khanna. He's the co-founder and chief impact officer of Earth Bank. Eva Konzal, she's the Central and Eastern European manager at the European Venture Philanthropy Association. And now everyone's coming on stage. Andreas Rauter, the head of sustainability, ethics and public affairs at Unica Insurance Group AG, and Shirley Shahar, she's the chief strategy officer and co-founder of Dana Global. Please give it up for the panel.